Welcome to Lightning Ministries Daily Devotional. Today's topic, love your neighbors. We're reading from Romans chapter 12, verses 9 through 10, where it talks about the ethics of a Christian. Now realize that many of us make it a point to show an interest when you and I are with other people in our society. Now, what we learn is how important it is to be cordial and to make small talk and express concern at the right moments, all of which are commendable. But, she knows I have to throw the but in there. Take for a moment to consider ways that the Lord might want you or I to go further in our commitment or conversation. Now, while we need to have the ability to show some pleasantries and polite chit-chat, and it's a good way to break the ice and begin a friendship or even to just begin communication. But, you notice I threw another but in there. Watch for it when the Lord might be calling you to strive for something at a different or higher or more mature level with someone that you're communicating with. I realize a lot of times what we do when we start a conversation is we're looking at what's in it for me. How can I promote myself? How can I share something that may spark or intrigue the other person that I'm communicating with's interest in what and who I am? But are you really available at that point in your conversation? And are you willing to go beneath the surface of your conversation? That's a good question. A lot of us miss that point. We're just making small talk. Now, while I find that it's hard to love others, and it requires, on my part, a sacrifice, and also an investment of my time, and if we take it to a level of being heartfelt, the energy that we are willing to put into that relationship. Now, I have friends that say, hey, we need to get together and have a meal. But do they call me to schedule it? Do they call me just to say, hey, how you doing? Or maybe it's just more of an acquaintance for what's in it for them, not so much what it's in it for me. But I think for me, it involves shifting around my calendar and my time to spend time with a friend who needs to talk through a problem or an issue, or just to kind of vent. Sometimes it's hard for us as men to vent with other men. And not only that, sometimes it's even harder to vent as men with other women. Our wives and our girlfriends, and maybe those that are in a friendship with us. Or it really could mean going without an unnecessary purchase in order to bless someone who is hurting in a financial manner. I thought about this the other day. We're getting ready to cross into the summertime. And a lot of us are also struggling with jobs and positions and money and the economy. But for me, that's an excuse. If the Lord, our God, is our provider. Now, a lot of people say, well, God doesn't rain money. Well, no, He doesn't, but He also will put people in positions at times to hear you having a need. Let me say it this way. If I was given the ability, and I'm not saying that I don't have somewhat of that, to be able to buy small air conditioners for windows for those that are less fortunate, widows, elderly, those that are going through struggles financially, to be able to stay cool through this hot summer we're getting ready to have here in Texas, then that would be my plea. The cost for some of these units ranged between $500 to $600 all the way up to in the thousands. But my thought is that the blessing that comes from it is much less than the cost. Why? Because we're not leaving any of this here when we leave. And how can we be a blessing instead of a burden? I should not say we're all burdens, to those around us. But I realize that there are going to be times when the Lord, can't even say the Lord, listen to that, wants our relationships to go deeper. Even if we're just doing something off the cuff. Even when we're doing it to get messy. Because that's messy to get involved in people's lives that you don't know. But you know what? I realize that isn't exactly what Jesus did with us. When Jesus died on the cross, he got messy. It got messy for him. And when we realized who he was and what he did and what we're accepting to be a part of his family, that got messy too. It caused people that are around us to run. I've heard people say, I don't believe in all that religious stuff. Well, I don't either. You know, Jesus is not about religion. It's about a relationship. But realize that Jesus loved us so profoundly that he gave his very life on a cross. Now we call it a cross. It was a tree, two pieces of wood put together. You can call it what you want. The man was nailed to a tree branch and hung to be put on display. So let's follow Jesus' example by giving away a little more of our own lives for others as we commit to truly loving the people that are around us, that we cross our path each and every day at the gas station, the grocery store, the market, wherever it may be, even on the streets. You know, it is profound that we forget that we're here for a short period of time with limited abilities, and I say limited because we don't and can't do everything, that God would use us to help someone else and love them without anything expected in return. I challenge you to do with that. And if you think that my idea about the air conditioners for Texas is a good idea, I challenge you to do something and to reach out and do something for someone else. And if you've got, or let me say it another way, you're not sure what to do or how to do it, I'll send you the units that I'm using to do this very task and the cost that it's incurring to do it. It's a one-time thing. It takes about 30 minutes of your time to set it up. 30 minutes! Comes with everything. You don't even have to drill any holes if you don't need to or want to. Anyway, I hope that God has inspired you to someday to chill in this society, to love others, and set yourself aside as a servant of the Most High God. Thanks for listening today. I hope I've encouraged you in some way, and I hope that you'll share this message with someone else that may need to be encouraged too. Have a blessed one and look forward to you coming back.